A leaked memo reveals the potential destruction of Trump's presidency. What? Well, let's get to that in a second, but I want to take you to Newsom, who has been wording his effort to respond to Texas's gerrymandering with California redistricting, gerrymandering, to create seats to offset the congressional seats that Texas is creating. I support it. Self-defense gerrymandering. Great. And he's been wording it this way.
I think there's a growing recognition in this country, not just with Democrats, independents, but also Republicans, that de facto the Trump presidency ends in November of next year if the American people are given a fair chance and a voice.
So his argument is, and it makes a lot of sense, if you actually had a Congress that did anything to rein in the presidency, this version of Trump's presidency would be over. He'd be destroyed in his full abilities that he's been leveraging. And then Congress does nothing, even when he's taking away their authority or using their authority illegally with funds or tariffs. And if you had a Democratic House and Senate, that would be it for not literally Trump's presidency, but the full power of his presidency that he's utilizing now. So then there was a question, and you had a lot of Republicans saying, California voters are not going to vote for the redistricted map. They're not going to vote for this because they don't want blah, 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 blah. And this memo, an internal memo that was leaked to Axios, reveals this thing's going to pass if people get a fair shot. And if that happens, we're one step closer to Republicans being removed from the majority in the House. Governor Gavin Newsom's bid to redraw California's congressional seats to create more Democratic-friendly districts has a 22-point advantage in support among the state's voters, Newsom's longtime pollster writes in an internal memo obtained by Axios. If this is the case, then that end of Trump's presidency phenomenon is one step closer. Now, there's a lot that's going to have to happen before then, and strong showing up in the midterms. And we did get some bad numbers about voter registration, but I am optimistic. Now, on this topic of Newsom and gerrymandering and Trump being panicked that he will be hit hard in this way by Democrats actually finally standing up, he's calling on more states now to do the same. Big win for the great state of Texas after their map passed. Everything passed on our way to 5 more congressional seats and saving your rights, your freedoms, and your country itself. Just admitting the way he sees them winning is by artificially creating out of thin air more Republican seats through drawing funky maps. Texas never lets us down. Florida, Indiana, and others are looking to do the same thing. More seats equals less crime and a great economy and a strong Second Amendment. It means happiness and peace. But Republicans, there's one thing even better. Stop mail-in voting, a total fraud that has no bounds. Also, go to paper ballots before it's too late, etc. And we talked about the scary element to his putting the finger on the scale in the mail-in ballots and voting machines way. He wants to restrict access and ability for certain populations to vote to his advantage. And now he's calling pretty frighteningly on other red states to do what Texas has done now that California seems, based on that memo, which is the first data I've seen on support or lack of support in California, there's strong support, that Newsom's effort here is likely going to neutralize what Texas just did. And that is good news. Now, a lot of people have been asking, Newsom's tone and his approach to all of this just seems different. Did something change? He said in a recent interview, something really changed, and it was the handling by Republicans of the California wildfire. While we watch this, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show. It's free. Just click it, and you're supporting us algorithmically.
Style is different than a lot of people in the party, and even different than maybe you were a few years ago. I mean, it is clear that for so many years, the Democratic Party said, if they go high, or if they go low, we go high. Yeah. And now it seems like if they go low, let's keep punching them. Trump tweets a certain way, you're tweeting a certain way. What was the moment when you decided for you that we've got to do this differently? Was there a moment where you said, we can't do this anymore?
I think it connects here in LA and the fires. And how he was completely misrepresenting the facts, misinformation, disinformation. Elon Musk was piling on as well.
You were really angry that we spoke to you then, and I've never seen you angrier than that.
Yeah, because I've never seen anything like it. In the middle of emergency, all the lies, all the misrepresentations, all the untruths, and they became gospel, and they were spread around the world. And it was a big wake-up call. And we got back on our feet, and we got back on the offense. And then when the National Guard was federalized, what the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. You saw ICE out here today. You know what that is? That is a preview for things to come. Mark my word. I said this a couple months ago with the National Guard. I said that was a preview for the rest of the country. That's exactly what happened in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. That's going to continue to happen across this country unless we're successful. I'm very proud of the lawsuit we filed against the Trump administration on posse comitatus, separate issue. The issue of intimidation, which you saw today, I guarantee you, that's a preview in front of voting booths and polling places all across this country. That's where ICE will be sent to intimidate and scare people. That's Donald Trump's America. That is not the vision of our founding fathers. They did not live and die to see this happen. So yes, I've changed. The facts have changed. We need to change. And we need to stand up to this authoritarian. We need to stand up at this moment. It is foundational. Again, it is not a...
So that's a really... He's going to also have to craft, and I'm seeing this missing, a message of what he's for, right? And this is just sort of analyzing Democratic messaging. They're going to have to land on the critical issues that people are struggling with, what it is that they're presenting, not just what they're against. And you have to articulate this moment that we're in and oppose Trump effectively. And he's doing that better than a lot of Democratic politicians just in the messaging. But there also has to be a strong policy message for what they're for and what the alternative actually is, and how we won't just defeat Trump, but actually finally make things substantially better on a policy front. He does, I mean, even just in his language, is using a lot more aggressive wording like this.
This is radical rigging of a midterm election. Radical rigging of an election. Destroying, vandalizing this democracy, the rule of law. So I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
I that's where the clip cut off. Let's just a little PSA to politicians. Just add to the end of it politically, okay? Because that we are going to reach our hand down their throat, grab their heart, and rip it out. And we're going to watch the blood run down our arm as it beats its last solitary beats politically. Okay? That's how, because that sounded like actually punching. And we don't want to escalate any violence. I love the aggressive language. I love the powerful language. I love the eager language. Podcast listeners, I'm bringing back the gestures that he does. I love the urgent language, but we just don't want to get to violent language. And so you can add to it, what's another one? You can add to it politically, because that's important. You want to say, and I always say electorally, we're gonna whack him politically, electorally. We're gonna chop them up into little pieces politically. And I do mean that as funnily as I'm explaining it. And obviously Newsom's been just sending MAGA into a weird tailspin by just posting like Trump posts. So his press account posts in all caps, signs off with Gavin Newsom's initials, has nicknames now for people, and they're mocking the way that Trump posts in that way. And I want to go through some of those right-wing reactions. First, it was so funny to hear CNN report on this in such a deadpan manner.
Little Marco, Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. I call her Crooked Hillary.
Trump built his political brand on schoolyard taunts, and now Newsom's social media feed is full of references to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, Vice President J.D. Just Dance Vance, House Speaker Little Man Johnson, while calling Trump Little Hands, Donnie J., the criminal president, and Donald Taco Trump.
We have word now, exclusively into CNN, that the latest phrase Newsom's press account is using for Trump is Donald, and we're not exactly sure what this means. Quote, little wee wee Trump. I love it. I love news anchors reporting on such silly concepts. JD, Just Dance Vance. Why did they never take my advice? Why didn't they use Mike's Little Johnson? That's so good. And they didn't even ask me if they should use it. Newsom's press account, is that too inappropriate? Mike's Little Johnson? Because it's already like House Speaker Little Man Johnson. Because you know Johnson is like also a word for shut up. Then Trump, I mean, MAGA will go, why is Newsom a governor posting like this? And then Trump posts, MSNBC is doing so poorly in the ratings that they are looking to change their name in order to get away from the strength of the stench of their fake news product, etc. Concast, he calls them with his nicknames. MSC is a failure by any name. Now, unfortunately, he calls Brian Roberts dopey. I would talk about that post more, except for I also think their name is not the best name change. MS Now, I think is the new name. To which Newsom responded, Trump is imitating me, GCN. With the all caps. Kellyanne Conway says, it's not funny.
And look at Gavin Newsom. He tried to do this, was it a radio show, a podcast, whatever he tried to do. Now he's busy trolling on social media, and it's cringe, it's falling flat. I'm sure they'll come after me now, who cares? Because Donald Trump is one of one. Only he can do what he's done with social media, with podcasts, in the way he's done it. 900 rallies and counting.
One of ones. I know what she's saying. That makes sense. But something's funny about that. I was picturing her saying 1 in a million. Man, that person's 1 in a million. That person's 1 in 1. You're the most special person in the population of you that I've ever met. You can take that down. All right, so you have that. Sean Hannity trying to get his arms around this.
Now, currently...
Did I say subscribe in this segment? Please do. If I didn't, I did. Join button. Did I say that in this segment? If you want to become a member and get the members-only bonus show, you can click the join button.
Now, currently, he and a social media team, they are busy trying to mock President Trump on X by posting messages in all caps. He's trying to pretend to be Donald Trump. Gavin is also attacking Fox News hosts. He's trying to bait conservatives into social media fights. He's actually referred to our own Tommy Laren's account as Yelp for toilets. Gee, very clever and funny. She'll join us in a moment to respond.
That is funny. Yelp for toilets. Oof. They keep doing this. I hate this phrase. I just can't think of another way to say it. Broadcasting their own L's, you know? They and then they called me. They said I'm a sad disgrace of a news host, and despite being on the air for 200 years, I still struggle to read off of a teleprompter, and I can't think of more interesting tonal shifts than just talking up like this. What a ridiculous insult. Thanks, Sean. He said this.
He just spent, the last several weeks bashing President Trump over the Texas redistricting fight while threatening to gerrymander his own state even more. Not that there's much left to gerrymander.
California's less gerrymandered than Texas.
Of course, this very public political battle doesn't help the people of California at all. It doesn't even help the Democratic Party. Helps nobody. It hurts Gavin Newsom. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for him.
Well, he's winning. However you feel about Gavin Newsom, his approval rating shot up in California. People's perception of who the nominee in 2028 should be, he went to the top of the list just in polling. His posts are going insanely viral. All of you are freaking out. And I hate this about politics, but when MAGA media freaks out, the Democratic base does get kind of excited. I don't like that own the libs or own the MAGA, but it is working for him. And the amount of times y'all keep bringing up how childish his posts are only serves to remind people how childish Trump's posts are, because they're just reflections of that. Then Jesse Waters weighed in.
Maybe Newsom should try the Pete Bobby challenge. 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups in 10 minutes. Let's see what he's got. Because last time we looked, he was knocking down Chinese kids like bowling pins.
I'm getting old. I got to work on my balance. When you get
shots in,
there's still a little fish. See you guys. Tell everyone I didn't miss a shot.
Kind of have a nice handle, all right. The difference is Trump writes his own tweets. Gavin can't even get it up himself.
Oh, nice. I feel like, I hope this kid's all right, because Newsom did deck him. He decked him. But, what do you...
the lower third guy, Ron.
What does it say?
Newsom flattens Chinese kid.
That is kind of strange. Where is this from? Oh, this is from Beijing. Okay. Wow. Yeah, he did. He did flatten the kid. But what's funny is then they play the clip, and that's like an adorable clip. They're all like, "Bye, Mr. Newsom." The one kid's just like, what's that cartoon character? Flat. You get the point. That's so funny. Kevin McCarthy, I don't want to listen to this creep.
What they're doing now is taking away 9 competitive seats in California that have flipped. When I was in, we won 5 seats. We lost 2 in the last cycle. I didn't lose my job.
Why is he talking like he's talking to a baby? We lost 2 in the last one.
When I was in, we won 5 seats. We lost 2 in the last cycle. I didn't lose my job because I worked across the aisle. I lost my job because one person slept with an underage woman, and I wasn't going to do something different when it came to the ethics committee. And I do that exact same thing today. I'll stand for what's right. Just like right now, I'm standing for the Constitution of California.
Okay, he's being ridiculous because he doesn't care when Republicans gerrymander worse. But when California says we'll only implement this map if Texas implements theirs, now he has a problem. But I have to give him credit. I love how he finds a way to crap on Matt Gaetz when it absolutely isn't the topic of conversation. That was brilliant. He was like, I didn't lose because of, I lost because of Matt Gaetz is a pedophile. And I stood up what was right here, and I'm standing up there. You're like, I don't know what that had to do with anything, but I like that you brought it up. I think Matt Gaetz should continue being crapped on. Then JD Vance says, see, what Newsom's missing in these posts is the genius that Trump brings into his.
Democrats are still doing their 2024 autopsy.
Yes.
Okay. And part of their autopsy is that going forward, they need to kind of be more like Trump in tone, tougher, have nicknames. Newsom's given you a nickname, which I don't even understand, called Just Dance Vance. So I guess, what's your favorite dance? What's your favorite dance music? It's the dumbest nickname. But how lost are the Democrats right now? And you can answer the dance question.
Look, the autopsy for the Democrats, some free political advice from the President of the United States is stop sounding like crazy people. That really is all it is. This idea that Gavin Newsom is somehow going to mimic Donald Trump's style, I think that ignores the fundamental genius of President Trump's political success, which is that he's authentic. He just is who he is. You've got
the greatest fraud in American history is people believing Trump's authentic. You can't be authentic and lie about who you are, what you stand for, what you're going to do, what your competitors believe, who your competitors are. You can't lie about everything and then be called authentic. Just because he's unconventional doesn't mean he's authentic. Just because he swears at a rally or uses nicknames or speaks bluntly doesn't mean it's not just blunt dishonesty, which is what it is. And they keep wording it this way. I know Newsom thinks he's going to become president by just imitating Trump. No, he's whatever. He's mocking how Trump posts. Now, if Newsom started unironically being that way, that would be strange, and I would be against if he started actually mimicking Trump. But it's an obvious, oh, look, this is how Trump posts. Lol. Trump has been upset by this. Gavin Newsom is way down in the polls. He's way up, actually. He's viewed as the man who's destroying the once great state of California. I will save California. Okay. Tommy Lauren came out. We don't need to see that. We get it. It's not funny. It's not funny. People are doing this now. And podcast listener, it's a truck. You know how MAGA folks will deck out their truck with Trump merch and American flags. And so this is a decked out Newsom truck. So ridiculous. I was confused by this. Joe Scarborough said he thought Newsom's new approach was embarrassing. Again, I don't even think you have to really like Newsom to see that finally, for the first time in months, a strategy. Does this mean that they now have a comprehensive policy agenda to run? No. But some media strategy has worked, and it's refreshing that something has worked.
And Willie, you can see the Democrats are trying to find their footing, and it's quite embarrassing, actually. I mean, Gavin Newsom, I mean, have you seen what he's doing online? And it's like,
it's
take a
funny.
Deep breath. Don't try to turn the ship 180 degrees and they don't know what to do. I have a good idea. Instead of trying to school Donald Trump, talk into the camera about affordability. Talk about making groceries
Yes. Okay. This is, people mistake this. They go, instead of focusing on messaging or virality, focus on the bread and butter issues. But if no one's listening to you, no one's hearing your discussions of the bread and butter issues. So yes, Newsom needs a really strong, and not just Newsom, Democrats. Any Democrat who has presidential ambitions, any Democrat running in any congressional race, Senate race, needs to have strong messages on affordability, on grocery prices, on healthcare, etc., etc. And in the world we live in, like Mamdani showed too, you can speak about those issues, but you have to make them popular on social media. If people liked calm, deadpan discussions, a video on YouTube, hi, I'm Luke and I'm running for this and I'm going to make groceries cheaper, then that would be what performs well, and it doesn't. So you have to get things to be the topic of conversation and leverage that to speak about the issues that matter to people. I haven't heard from Newsom, I might be missing, enough discussions of the issues that matter. So that's a fair critique. I want not just for him to critique Trump, but to have a list of here's what we should be doing instead. And I'm sure he's laid that out, but that any Democrat needs to have that too. And it's not concise enough for many of them, essentially. But we can't act like being silly and goofy in some cases or owning someone is all, it's either that or the important stuff. You got to leverage both for sure.